Yes, I think, first of all, I think a little bit of experience. Playing against them 4 times and knowing that they know how to close out games. We've learned our lessons, especially the Washington Test match. You know, we were ahead in the last few minutes, and the way they clawed back and won that Test match, we certainly learned some lessons there. And then when we analyze them, the way they won the Six Nations, you know, we certainly see that they're a team that strangled opposition and really, you know, strangled the life out of opposition. And today we expected exactly that, and that's what we received the whole game. And so we had to match that. It probably wasn't the most spectacle to watch, but I mean, we expected that, and I guess the boys stuck to their guns and adapted to that.
Rassie, Warren Gatlin just said that you feel you guys can go all the way. You just need to be a little bit more expansive, perhaps, in the final.
Did he say we can go all the way if we're a bit more expensive?
Yeah, you just, yeah.
Yes, it's good that you think we can go all the way. That's great. Yes, you know, I think we're a team that's been together for 25 test matches. You know, when we have personnel changes like a guy like Cebu coming in, and we do play teams with different styles, we're still in a phase where we suddenly have to adapt. If we play a team like New Zealand with a fast running game, we're used to that. If we play a team like Wales, who's a kicking, long distance kicking game, it's different for us to try and run from our own 22 and so on. So, yes, I think he's right. There's definitely some areas in our game which must improve if we want to win. But we've given ourselves a chance. We've played England 4 times in the last 18 months. I think it's 2-2. Yeah, it is 2-2. The 3 test matches in South Africa, and then the last one at Twickenham. So we're accustomed with the way they play. They obviously are much better than when we last played them, and you could see it last night when the way they dismantled New Zealand. But you know, we think we're in with a chance. We've got a 6-day turnaround. I'm not 100% sure if a World Cup final is going to be won by a very expansive game plan with wonderful tries. It might be. I might be wrong. But I think we'll go and the grind it out route.
In the back, and please wait for the microphone.
Rassie, how big was that turnover from Francois Louw?
No, it was massive. I think there was a few contributions from the guys that came off the bench, Hendrik, that made massive differences. I think at one stage, Frans Steyn put a grubber through that got them stuck back into their 22. I think Francois Louw gave a penalty away when he just came onto the field, and I thought, oh, okay, maybe that was the wrong call to put him on. And then 2 minutes later, he got the vital turnover, you know, inside our 22. So, yeah, sometimes those things work out for you, and sometimes they don't. I think the nice thing about our squad currently is that we accepted we're a 31-man squad, and there's 23 players who play on a specific day. A guy like Cebu got his chance today. There were certainly times in the game where he got found out, but there were certainly times in the game where he had wonderful opportunities and he played really well. So yes, it's nice when things work out, and I think that specific turnover by Flo was very important for us to sit here today to go through to the final.
Gentleman in white, please.
Rassie, when you took over a couple of years ago, Springboks had a tough couple of years. When you took over, did you ever envisage, or was it just a hope to be in a World Cup final now? And what can you pinpoint as the reason for the sort of the side's turnaround in fortunes?
Yes, look, I think we've always had the potential in South Africa to be a force in world rugby, and we have always been. You know, even in 2015 when we lost to Japan, we still played in the semi-final, you know, against New Zealand and only lost with 2 points. In 2011, you know, we lost in a quarter-final against Australia. in my opinion, in a quite controversial way. In 2007 we won it, you know, and in 2009 we were number 1 in the world. So we were always there and thereabout. But I think the way the players in the last 2.5 years took responsibility of being really professional and taking ownership of what it means to be a professional rugby player. I think there was a stage in South Africa when being a professional rugby player was just earning a good paycheck. But I think currently players understand that, listen, if I want to be a professional rugby player, it means I have to work really hard. I can't just move from province to province and earn a good paycheck. And I think that's slowly spreading throughout the provinces and franchises. And players are really pushing one another. And the whole level of mediocrity is going slowly out of our rugby. Not that we've achieved anything, but I think we're slowly moving up to the standards of where Ireland are maximising their potential and Scotland are maximising their potential, the same with New Zealand. So overall, I think the players deserve a lot of credit for taking a more professional approach towards professional rugby.
Rassie, Eddie said last night that he'd been building up for 2.5 years to play against the All Blacks in this game. And when he said that, I was thinking to myself, 2.5 years ago, you were at Munster. Has it surprised you actually how quick, because you have sort of done an ambulance job in a way, because you've only been there for, in fact, less than 2 years. Has it surprised you how quickly everything started to sort of come right? I mean, you got on the right track very quickly.
Gavin, we don't have the money that England have, and we don't have we definitely have the player pool. And I think if you go numbers-wise, I think England's got the most players, and I think the next number of players is France, and I think then South Africa is sitting 3rd or 4th in the amount of player pool, in terms of player pool. But I think in terms of resources, in terms of qualified coaches and the resources around player development and player pathways, I think England is definitely right up there. And then obviously in the Premiership rugby, you know, there's rich owners that back their club. So they've got a wonderful system which support them to get players through and keep them in a really professional mindset. So we've got a little bit different challenges in South Africa for different reasons. Obviously, the rand is not the strongest currently if you compare it with the euro and all the other French markets and so on. So yes, it did surprise me because we had to make a few changes in terms of the regulation and using overseas-based players. We had to talk to the franchises in terms of getting conditioning standards the same, Super Rugby coaches working together. And what surprised me is that they quickly bought into the whole system, because normally that takes years for them to start working together. And I think that's a positive which we could turn around quickly. But yes, now we're only in the final, so let's see how the final goes. Then we'll only know if we really could turn the corner as much as we wanted to.
Siya, what does it mean to you to be leading South Africa into a World Cup final? And the last time South Africa win one, where were you on your journey?
Yeah, it means a lot to me and the team. We've worked really hard, all of us in the team, and we know Coach as well he gave me my first contract when I was 18 years old, so I know him for a while ago, and he's coached a lot of guys from different units, so he knows us, and he's had to pull us together, and we had to buy in his plan. And as soon as he came, he just made it clear that the Springbok is the most important thing. Where in the past, I think most of us, we tried to build ourselves by our social medias and all those kind of things. And he just brought us back to earth and told us you have to play well first, and everything else will come. And it's awesome to see it come together a bit, and it will mean a lot for us to run on, and hopefully go all the way as a team. Yeah. So really looking forward to it. And where was I when we last time won the World Cup? I was actually watching it in the tavern because I didn't have TV at home. I remember what it did for us back then, 2007. I've never seen people come together, over sport. So yeah, that's where I was.
Siya Kolisi キャプテンに 特に前半は風が強かったと思いますが、その風の影響がゲームにあったかどうかで、チームとして、その風の中でどんなことを大事にプレーをしたのか教えてください。
Yeah, I didn't feel a lot of wind. Well, I was just, I didn't feel anything like that. I think it was fair, even when I spoke to the coach before the game, he said the first thing is kick off and then either side, so he didn't really mind. So there wasn't really much wind, so yeah.
Siya, you took a phone call from the President of South Africa yesterday on the eve of the game. What was that like for you, and can you tell us a little bit about the pressure going into this game? It did look a bit of a nervous performance from the Springbok team as a whole.
It was awesome to get a phone call from the President. It was really special, for him to take time out to wish us luck, and not only from him, from all the people in South Africa. It's been really special. One of our sponsors is a television, like a screen in the hotel, and we get all the messages from South Africa, and it's really special to see how people have bought into what we're doing here and supporting us. Yeah, so and during the game, obviously it's semi-finals. Wales are giving their best, we're giving our best. You are gonna make mistakes, and that's one thing I enjoy from the coach. He lets us know, you're gonna make mistakes. Just keep on working as hard as you can. So we did expect to make a few mistakes, and sometimes we had the momentum, and sometimes they had the momentum. But I'm really glad that we could handle the pressure till the end.
Siya, just in terms of the physicality and the discipline shown by you guys, how pleasing was it to see that the guys keep on track with that plan? And also just to Rassie, is that your lucky white shirt?
Our discipline was, we weren't happy with it first half. We gave a lot of penalties away. I felt like we were putting them under pressure, and every time we release it by giving a penalty. And, we had that chat at halftime, and it's always good to see when the guys respond to that, and it got better and better as the win came.
Every time last year, since I started coaching, when we lose a match, I changed my clothing. So last year I had to change quite a lot clothing because we lost quite a lot, and this year I only had to change it once. So I'm hoping I can wear this till the end of the final. So this is my lucky shirt so far.
神奈川新聞の矢部と申します。本日はお疲れ様でした。先日日本と対戦し、今日はウェールズというカードになりましたけど、そのティア2の国から、ティア2の国と戦ってからティア1欧州王者と戦うっていう中で、気持ちの持ちようだったり、そのギャップというものは戦ってみて感じましたでしょうか。お聞かせください。
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what qualifies as a Tier 1 and a Tier 2 team. I'm not 100% sure if it's world rankings. I'm not 100% sure. For example, I think Argentina is higher or lower ranked than Japan, but they play in the Rugby Championship, so I'm not 100% sure how the tiers work. But I can tell you that Japan beat Ireland and beat Scotland, so they must be close to a Tier 1 team. So for us, we certainly felt in the first game that they are Tier 1 level opposition, the way they play the game. They certainly got some areas in the game where they have to develop a little bit more, which will be set phases, with mauling, scrumming, those kind of things. And then again, when you play teams like Wales, who's consistently playing in Six Nations competitions, which is a lot of tactical stuff where there's kicking, aerial skills, those kind of things. I think if Japan gets exposed to tactical side of things like Six Nations or Rugby Championships or that, because you certainly have to adapt. When you're a Tier 1 team, you can't just run the ball. You have to have a tactical game, say kicking, scrumming, mauling, and those kind of things. So they're certainly up there when it comes to their skill level, but I think the tactical side of things, they will have to vary that a little bit to step up to a tier 1 level. In my opinion, I'm not saying I'm right, in my opinion.
Our last question will be on the front row here.
Can I just ask both of you what you made of Faf de Klerk's performance tonight, and what was your reaction when you saw one of the smallest men on the pitch squaring up to one of the biggest in Jake Ball?
No, he's just asking. No, Faf is... The difficult thing in South Africa, they've got 60 million supporters, which is wonderful, and they support with passion and heart and opinions. And sometimes when you really play bad for a couple of months, they keep quiet, and that's terrible, and we never want that. We always want to hear their opinions, because the moment they go quiet, they almost lose interest in you. And this was certainly a time when we experienced in the last 2 or 3 years where they went quiet and just started ignoring the Springboks. And we never want that again. And there was Faf was certainly a point of discussion over the last couple of weeks in his form. But we see players like Faf and other players which sometimes are points of discussion, either on good form or bad form. But we see them at training sessions really training hard, trying well, gymming hard, working on their their weaknesses and so on. And we know it's a matter of time before they come good. And it's wonderful in big games like today and also last week when Faf was man of the match, when they actually come good, because not because you want to prove the fans wrong, but because you want to let the fans know that the players are hearing what they're saying. They are trying really hard to impress them because they are the fans and they want to play well for them, So when that happens, it really is, it really makes you feel good, and it lifts the team, and it's wonderful that I think the supporters see that. So it's a all over good feeling.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. That will be all. We will open the mix zone pretty shortly, so we invite everybody to make their way down. Thank you very much.